It's Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, 1, 2, 3 jobs! Today, January 3rd, is my birthday. I'm 55, and I'm feeling my age. I just recently recovered from a 2-month-long health crisis that's made it pretty clear that my days of being a starving artist must soon come to an end. It's been pretty great, actually. Waiting tables, working as few shifts as possible, making just enough money to pay the bills, and having lots of free time to devote to reading, thinking, pursuing whatever project I desire, including this show. It's been economically rough at points, of course, but also pretty darned wonderful. Of course, I've got no dependents, and by and large am totally cool with not buying a lot of stuff all the time like most people do, and that's not so with my coworkers who have families and dependents and other expenses, and you know, the kind of stuff I've managed to opt out of. To make ends meet, my fellow servers pick up extra shifts, delaying clocking in until they have to ring something up for their first table in order to stay under the 40-hour limit, working all the time, essentially. Back of house, cooks, prep cooks, dishwashers, their strategy to beat the 40-hour rule is to have 2, sometimes 3 jobs every day. When I'm going home after working the lunch shift, at least half, usually more, of my coworkers are either headed to their 2nd or 3rd jobs or waiting around to work the dinner shift. And it isn't simply the restaurant industry. This is widespread throughout the American economy. Millions and millions of workers in this country literally work all the time, struggling, never getting ahead, living paycheck to paycheck, one crisis away from total ruin. For the last 10 or 15 years, I've often thought to myself, well, we got the Republicans, we got the Democrats. Is there a political party that's trying to make it such that people have to work only one job? Where's the one job party? Well, obviously there's not a one job party. Clearly because the Republicans and Democrats are both heavily beholden to the super wealthy, to the banks, and to the corporations, but also because American political culture is dominated by psycho 70-hour-week corporate work culture. They're all in deep, not realizing that this is a big fucking problem, and they think it's normal, they think it's desirable. This kind of thinking has come to dominate the entire establishment and is thus the conventional wisdom. It's all bullshit, of course, and it really begs the question of why we work in the first place. It is very important to note that why we work is not the same question of whether we should work. You know, the latter appears to be the only question we ask about work in this country, laden with decades of right-wing propaganda about welfare queens and moochers. It's always been a bogus dialogue. Of course we must work. It's a central Marxist principle. Humanity must get shit done if we are to survive and thrive. Duh. Obviously. But focusing culturally on whether to work has kept us from examining the nature of work, how it affects our lives, who the beneficiaries are, who the victims are. The American conspiracy of silence on these ideas has fucked over most of the country, especially the lower you go on the income scale. We're all workaholics, and you can even measure the devastation this has wrought in terms of suicides, drug dependence, alcoholism, anxiety, and depression. My next career step is to get back into teaching, but not high school. Never again. Instead, I plan to put my MFA to work and hopefully get a nice gig at a nice, slowly paced community college. I should be good. But I fear greatly the long-term consequences of this workaholic lifestyle for my restaurant comrades, for my whole country. We've got to find a better way, or American life will continue its downward slide into darkness and misery. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. You know, everyone in the restaurant industry works sick, right? You know that? I just finished a couple of shifts myself with the flu. You can maybe even kind of still hear my nasaliness. The reality is, nobody can afford the time off.